What's up, everybody? Although this message is for the ladies, so I can only speak for women. I can only speak for myself, truly, people that are in my life, clients, friends, things like that. But this particular message, I'm directing to the ladies. And more specifically, I would say female entrepreneurs, because I got this question from a woman who watches my lives. And she actually reached out after my last live video on emotionally abusive relationships, how to spot them, identify, and really worthiness 101, right? So I want to make this connection because I hear a lot of things, and I've heard even male coaches say, go have sex if you want to have this. But it's different for women. We have a womb, we have a space. We don't want to just let anyone in there, right? And we also just want to be mindful about this. But her question, although it's not right in front of me, hi Melissa, hi Rebecca, hi Jean, hi Lisa, hi Erin, hi Carolyn, hey Carrie. So her question was, and she was kind of answering her own question, and it's like someone might have given her this answer before, and I gave her a brief answer, but now I'm going to do the long answer here. So her question was, Nicole, it was something like this. Nicole, I'm not making money in my business. I feel like I have an income block, and I also haven't had sex for 2 years because I was in an emotionally abusive relationship. I realized that I was attracting slimy men, in her words. I realized I was attracting slimy men, in her words, she said, so I pulled back from having sex. Do you think this is impacting my income? But she had more of a tone of, don't you think this is impacting my income? Here's what I told her, and here's what I'm going to tell you. Because the truth is that it's not sex, the actual act. It's pleasure. It's worthiness, understanding that you deserve to be pleased, whether it's by yourself. And here's the thing, women, we had this conversation in one of my groups. If you don't know how to give yourself an amazing orgasm, there's a disconnect, because you have all of this power right here with you, and that you can please yourself and explore yourself and know all these things. If you have that disconnect from your own body, there's a disconnect from you and the men that you're going to be bringing into your life. Now, how does this relate to money, right? How does this relate to income? How does it relate to business? Well, here's what it relates to when it comes to all of these things. For a woman to find success in her business, and success is subjective, so you get to decide what that is for you. But I would say that when women come to me, at first, there's either this, I want to make $10,000 a month, because they haven't hit that yet, and it's like this, number that entrepreneurs think that they want. I thought that too, and then you hit 10, and you're like, no, I want 30, right? So you keep going. Or I want to get 6 figures, or whatever it is. And when they come with that, there are these places where we unlock ourselves, our ability to ask for what we desire and stand in that. Stand in that request, knowing that we're worthy of that request, knowing that we deserve to live the best life that we can even imagine, more than we could even imagine. Who the hell is Kadir trying to get on my video? No, my friend. I don't even know who you are. So here's the deal. If you are a woman and you're like, you know what? I am not living the lifestyle I want to live. Yes, there's always more. But there's a space where you can feel like, you know what? I feel good here, right? I feel good here. I'm not financially struggling. I can afford all my bills. I get to have the indulgences and the little things that I love, right? And you get to decide that. But what I'm saying is, if you're in a space where there's a disconnect and you feel like your desires are always elusive, yeah, I would look at the way that there's pleasure in your life, sensually, sexually, and it doesn't mean going and having sex with men. So here's the funny thing. Here's what I want to talk about. And my friend Annabelle does a really good talk about this and about what it means to have casual sex. And here's the thing with us women. We are allowing a man to enter us. It's different than a man entering women, right? It's different. So if you're not in a relationship or in a union that feels really good to you and you're having sex and it's making you feel like shit, is it really empowering you? Furthermore, if you are tuned into your body and know how to please yourself, then having sex with men that don't know your body may not be that pleasurable, right? And I can say that for my own case, right? It's like one of the groups that I have now going, permission granted, I had the women read Pussy, A Reclamation. It's a book by Mama Gina. I highly recommend it for women. And if you're a woman listening to this, or you come on later and you go, I even have a friend who's a pretty open-minded woman. She heard the title and she's like, if I could get over the title, and I was just like, that means you need to really read the book. Because it's not a bad word. It's, number one, all words are just words. We create the associations to them. There's words that are in English that you may find repulsive, such as cunt, right? You may find that to be repulsive, but someone listening in Russia or in, some other country, in France, they may be like, I can't even understand what you're saying, right? But we've given all this association to it. So we've given it meaning. But going back to this idea, I think that there needs to be a deeper conversation around it because, I have heard all of these things where it's like, oh, then you should go have more sex, or maybe you need to have more sex if you want to have more income and pleasure in your life. Let's be clear about, we don't want to just go out having promiscuous sex if it's not going to make us feel good. If you like to do that and it's something that feels good to you and you feel fulfilled after, not just in the moment of having an orgasm or having that connection, but I'm talking after the orgasm, after you leave the bed or wherever you are, and when you go home, do you feel better from it? Do you feel alive in some way from it? If so, carry on. But what I'm saying is, learn to please yourself in such a way that you've already not mastered, because there's always more and it's forever unfolding and we're so complex, but it really worries me when there's women that don't know how to give themselves an orgasm or know what that is like, right? Or if you haven't even gone there, attempted to go there in a very long time. Tonight's my invitation to you. Go there. And then someone says in my group, and if this is offending anyone in anything that I'm saying, don't unfollow me. Please unfriend me because I'm at 5,000 friends. But this is real talk. This is what it is to explore all of us and to step into worthiness. It's like, I deserve to have a very pleasurable life. I deserve to pay attention to my desires. But I also want to honor them with my highest self. And I don't want to have this connection like the woman had that asked me, should I go have sex? Because I haven't had sex in 2 years. And should I do this? If you're not ready for that, do not think that that's the answer to go do that. And suddenly you're going to start making all this income. No, honey, it's not going to work like that. So what we want to do is make sure that we're entering into these spaces and making these decisions from a place of, this feels good to me. This feels good to me. It's not a neediness of, I can't tell you the amount of women that, former friends, I would say more former friends that have told me, but I'm just so horny, I just want to have sex. You know what? But does it really feed you if it doesn't give you all these other things? Like, what are you really looking for in it? And then I would say, when you figure out what you're really looking for in it, and if you're like looking for something deeper, be honest about that. That will directly impact your income. That will make you feel like, wow, I'm tuned into myself. I'm aware of my needs. I deserve the best. It keeps going back to this theme. Do you see this theme of, I deserve the best that life has to offer? And that means, okay, if you're going to want pleasure, start with yourself first. Like how we talk about self-love, start with this first. And you know what? This is something that's in the group. So in the group, one of my ladies in the group, she says, I haven't given myself orgasm and I don't even know how long. And Chris, this is really for women, but you can watch it if you want. So she says, I haven't given myself an orgasm, I forget how long, very long time. She goes, I better go buy a dildo. I said, no, do not buy that. Do not buy it, because as my friend told me, right, a while ago, years ago, she said, these toys take away from our sensations and our ability to connect and connect with ourselves, right? All of this is about connection to self. Take away all the baggage you have around sex, orgasms, masturbation, pleasing, whatever, pleasure, prioritizing. Can you remove all of the baggage, all of the past associations, and come right back here to one central theme: pleasure, worthiness. Do you, can I talk right today? Do you deserve to live your most pleasurable life? That's a question only you can ask yourself and truly answer, right? And when you do that, you'll get to know, what am I ready for in this moment? But I would say, in my experience, I can say, and with what I've watched with other women, because we're just essentially turning ourselves on, opening ourselves up to receiving more, right? And the first person you have to be receptive to is you. We think that we need to be receptive to an outside abundance, to an outside person. No, it's becoming available and receptive to ourselves. Like I always say when people say, abundance is all around us. Correction, you are abundance. I am abundance. We have trillions of cells in our body. We get inspiration and ideas, and there's all of this information that comes to us all the time. We are abundance. All the money that we could possibly imagine, all the things that we desire, they're already here, right? Now, it's not outside of you. Now, if we take this back into sex and pleasure, you have it inside of you. Someone may enter into your orbit, come into your life, come into you and give you pleasure, but it's pleasure that's already within you, right? It's already there for you. So my thing is, can you explore it on your own and become so good at it that you know how to give yourself multiple orgasms in multiple spots? And then when somebody comes into your life, you know if this person is really worthy of staying around or not. And it's you being in a more of a queen space of your own queendom than you feeling needy, like, oh my God. Like, it's victim to think that you having sex with another human is going to interfere with you making money or not. No. Let's stop that thinking. It's incorrect. It's inaccurate. The pleasure, everything that you need is inside of you now, right? It's the willingness for you to explore it, to own it before any other person, man or woman, comes in. So I'm going to say that because some of you ladies aren't into men, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, when we recognize that everything that we could possibly desire is already in us, the orgasms, the money, everything that you can think of, the desires, the inspiration, the revelations, they're here. So we stop looking at, I have to get this outside of me. I'm looking for it over there. I'm missing something. And this is the kind of deep, revelations that will transform your whole way of being forever. And I'm seeing that a lot of you guys are feeling this, right? So here's the deal. I'm going to go answer your questions in a second. But I'm so glad that she asked this question, because normally I wouldn't come on here and talk about orgasms and sex and pleasure and all these things. But what I want to know, and I know there's a lot of women that follow me that feel financially blocked, right? And if you're not clear, you run around thinking that you got to go have sex with some strangers because you're not going to have this next level of abundance if you don't. And that is funny to me. It's funny. But that's how we feel when we're really feeling like, oh my God, I need to survive. I need to get this money. I need something outside of myself to be amazing and be perfect and whole already. On a side note, before we go into me answering your guys' questions on here, and if you have a question about this, ask me. I have 20 minutes to be on here, maybe 15. So here's the deal. Next Tuesday, I have a free masterclass it's on worthiness and value. We're not going to really talk about sex and orgasms, so I'm talking about that here. But if you're a woman that's a coach, healer in the online space, and you feel underpaid and like you're over serving, it's going to be for you. It's going to be next Tuesday, so stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing something as soon as my assistant gets it back to me so you can sign up. But there's so many women that are feeling like this. And this is just one little facet of it where we talk about this pleasure stuff. So let's see what the questions are here. Melissa says, how would you figure out what is really going on? Like underneath the feeling of I need to have sex. Well, you just ask. You have to ask yourself. But here's the thing. I'll say this with myself, and I see it with other people, and there's clients that never really open up. Right? And then there's clients that open up, and then all of a sudden they are at the six figures. They do have their first $10,000, $15,000 a month. And that's just the beginning, right? Because I do short-term kind of things together. But we all have this willingness to be totally honest and to admit our wounding that hurts, whatever it is. I would say look at the sex that you're having. When you say, what's the feeling if I need to have sex? Maybe you need to go have an orgasm, right? So I know for me even, I have a crystal wand, a rose quartz wand. So I don't use typical toys. I also have a yoni egg. But I'll use those kind of things, but at the end of the day, allow it to be an exploration of when you're feeling the need to reach for something external, how can you serve yourself? Make sure that you know how to serve yourself before you're looking for external things to serve you. This doesn't mean never have sex. Do not have sex with your partner. Do not have sex with your lovers. It doesn't mean that. What I mean is that anything that you're looking for externally, I would love for you to look and see how well and sufficient you are already, and that you have everything you need. Then every sort of dynamic, every sort of adventure is an adventure. It's not out of need. It's not out of necessity, right? Do you guys understand that little shift in distinction? It's really powerful. Carolyn says, love your transparency, Nicole. We are feeling beings. Our feelings are our internal sat-nav. It's gold. Yes, our feelings are, and it's our ability to look at our feeling and look what's underlying it, right? And sometimes we have to do some work, or a lot of work, just depends on you, to really go beyond our mind. And that's the work that I do with the private clients when we're doing the different sorts of breath work, when we're doing meditations, when we're doing activations. And sometimes people have to cry, sometimes people have to scream, sometimes they laugh because we realize, God, I was so silly standing in my way all this time when everything was here for me. But the thing is because we protected ourselves out of survival, right? And when we protect ourselves out of survival, it could be a little bit more challenging to decipher the truth because we're dealing with the layers upon layers of conditioning and what we've created our identity to be, right? So this is getting a little bit maybe esoteric without me going through all this stuff, but I hope this answered the question, and share this with a lady that you know who is like, you know what? And really when it comes to worthiness, I just want to share this. Hi, everyone that's jumped on recently. Who's this? Laura says, awesome, so excited. So you're going to join the Masterclass. The Masterclass is free and it's going to be amazing. But this is, going into this, just remember that the umbrella of worthiness, and see, this is where it gets so great because there's women that are in, like, for instance, my group, my paid group that's about to end, permission granted, and they're like, after 3 weeks together, they're admitting some things that are happening in their marriage or admitting some things that are happening in their personal life because now they've given themselves permission that it's safe to show up, it's safe to feel, it's safe to explore all of me and to be honest about what I'm feeling, what I need here. If we don't have that safety and we're constantly in denial, and I get that so much when there's women, and these are women that I can't work here privately, right? Because I would drive myself crazy. We wouldn't get anywhere. But with women that are talking about money is just energy, but they don't have the money in their bank account, that's a lie. You may have read that money is just energy. However, your experience would demonstrate, and it's evidence that that's not something that you've embodied as your truth yet, right? So when we look at worthiness, we have to be honest about what's here. What's here for us, knowing that it's safe because at the very base of everything, we're already good enough. We're already divine. We're already perfect. And perfect, you may think is subjective, but when I say divinity and perfection, what I mean by that is that you're perfect for whatever you've been brought here to do. You came here with a sacred agenda. And that's why we have to be mindful about where we are and who we're working with and groups that we join and events that we take, because you don't want to get caught up on someone else's agenda, right? Your agenda is important, and that's the same thing when it comes down to sex. Because if you think I just need to have sex and that's going to solve all my problems, and you'll learn lessons, right? You'll learn lessons by going and taking that advice about just going to have sex just to make more money or whatever it is, like this woman that wrote me. But the truth is that there's an agenda that's here for you. You already were born as abundance. Your work is opening up to it, and the way that we open up to it is start saying, I deserve the best. I deserve the best. And what's best to you may not be the best to me, and that's okay, right? We all have different desires, and there's nothing that's right or wrong, right? I know there were years where I was like, I don't like this, and then I'm like, oh, I like this now. Allow yourself all of these freedoms. That's part of worthiness. Part of worthiness is owning all of these parts of you. and fully accepting them, embracing them, loving them, and not giving a damn about what anyone else thinks about them, right? So some people live their life this way. Cool. I enjoy this, right? So guys, I hope this helped. I should say, ladies, I hope this helped you or just sparked something in you. If it did, let me know. I'd love to hear. And if you have questions, I like this, coming on Facebook Lives and sharing and answering questions from my Facebook Messenger. So if you have a question that you would like me to answer, let me know. I don't answer long questions in my Messenger because I like to save my coaching energy for my clients. But if you have a question that I think could serve many, I will share it here. And I won't tell you everybody who it is. Obviously, you guys don't know who this was that did this. I do respect that. Also, I want to let you know I still have 3 places open for private coaching, private mentorship. I have a 4-month program right now that's going on. It's called Devotion, and really what it's for is for a woman who is like, you know what? I know that I'm here to do something big, and I'm tired of standing in my damn way. I'm ready to fully surrender to this. I'm ready to reclaim myself and know that I deserve to live a life that feels amazing. But what that requires for you is to surrender to your potential. And sometimes, why don't we do that on our own, right? Why don't I just surrender to my potential on your own? Because we're all working with a lot of things that are subconscious. We don't see it. It's been such a part of our reality for so long. We've accepted it as is. This is the way life is. What are you talking about? And when someone else comes in, such as me or another mentor or whoever you have in your life, they come into your space, you let them in, and they see right away, here's how you're saying no to yourself. Here's where you're playing small. Do you recognize what this way of being and showing up is doing for you, right? And you may not even realize. You may just think, well, and I have this with clients all the time. I can't tell you how many clients have come to me because they want to make more money in their business, and they transform their relationships with their husbands. Right? They transform their relationships with themselves always, right? Or they end up making the money but realize their business needed to go in a different direction. There's so many different things because it's not about what you think it is. It's always about you digging more into you and really digging so that you can release, but expanding into more parts of yourself than you'll ever imagine. You won't know the potential unless you're willing to go there. If you're not willing to go there, you'll never explore it. It will never make itself available to you. All of the secrets of life, the universe, of you are not revealed until you're ready for them, right? So that's why people will say, well, I want to make $1 million. Your way of being doesn't demonstrate that. The secret to that will never be revealed to you. It won't be. I want to have better relationships, but you're showing up like this in this relationship, and you won't let go of that dead relationship. It'll never be revealed to you. There's a sincere willingness that must come through, right? Heidi says, we all have various aspects of ourselves. We need to embrace them. Oh, I love the realization of my worth. Yes, all of us is worthy, though. That's the beautiful thing. Every part of us is worthy, right? So while we may have all these different aspects of ourselves, and I think this is why I love teaching on worth, and why everything comes back down to worthiness, right? Because, like, how would you show up if you believed that you were just absolutely worthy? Probably a lot different than you show up in many ways now. And that's for everyone, right? And you may have moments of it, but it may not be consistent. So anyway, guys, if you are a woman that's like, you know what? I do feel like I'm underpaid and I'm over-serving. Then on Tuesday, jump into the Masterclass. It's free. It'll probably be like 30, 45 minutes. Invite your people. Have them come join us. You know, meditation. We'll always do a meditation activation kind of thing. But it's going to be a class that when you walk away from it, you're going to have a aha about why you've been underpaid and how it's all because of you. It's all because of you. It's not that people can't afford it. It's none of these stories. You'll see, because when you start making the money that you desire to make and that you see the shift, you're like, oh, nothing outside of me changed. It was all me making a decision and living, moving, breathing, being from that place. So the Masterclass is going to be on that, and it's free. But if you're like, you know what, I already know. And here's the thing, there's a knowing, there's a sense of discernment, there's a deep trust, and all of this is connected to self-worth, because you realize no one else, like no one could come into my life No one could come into my life and tell me what I need, and I would just jump because of what they say. No one. No one. Because I am willing to honor my truth, right? And to feel into it. And there's a sense of being anchored into my soul, right? My intuitive guidance. And that's why it's so important for us to do this work. To take the time to dive in. When someone's working with me, I'm not here to tell you I'm giving you something you don't have. I'm a mirror. I'm a mirror to show you in the ways in which you're not showing up for what you say that you want. You say you want this. You say that you want to experience these emotions. You say that you want to live a life that feels like this. You say these things that are important to you, but let's look at how you're really showing up. And some of it you may not even realize because it's energetics. And that's where we dive in and do the fun work, or the uncomfortable work, whatever you want to call it. But I will tell you, at the end of it, you will not regret that you did it. So message me if you think that you're one of those 3 ladies. And this will probably be the last of my private clients before my book comes out. And there's a lot of good things happening. So guys, I'm really excited. See you on Tuesday. If you know someone that could use this message, share it with them, tag them, because that always is something that I love. And I want to hear from you if you have a question. I will consider doing a video on it. Bye guys, have a beautiful day and go please yourselves. Bye.